In the dim night of Embakasi on the night of February 18, 2025, a young woman would walk out into the darkness and never return. That night, Naomi Wangare Mwangi received a phone call from a close friend to meet for something. What followed was a horror so raw and chilling that it still haunts the community today. Naomi, aged 29, was more than just a neighbor or a name in the evening news. She was a daughter, a wife, and a mother. The soft laughter and the promise of tomorrow were all extinguished by a single phone call that lured her into darkness. So she went out and something terrible happened. For those who believe that safety is often woven into the very fabric of one's home, the occurrences of that night were the opposite. Neighbors close by would later hear muffled screams and cries, but this did not seem to spare her agony. Her body would later be found half naked, with signs of a struggle, violation, and strangulation. What's astonishing is the question of who placed that fateful call in the dead of the night. What was their motive, and why this level of betrayal? A woman who once filled her daughter's evenings with lullabies and her husband's days with hope now lay silenced. Hello and welcome to Dark Our Dogs, where we uncover the darkest crimes, the unanswered questions, and the haunting truths left behind. In this story of Naomi Wangare, we peel back the layers of a brutal crime. The night that turned a warm place into a crime scene, and the hunt that still pulses on. This is more than just tragedy, it's a call to remember her name, to seek truth, and to hold accountable those who used trust as their weapon.
More sad news, and homicide detectives have taken over the probe into the mysterious murder of 29-year-old Naomi Wangare Mwangi.
Detectives at Embakasi police station are searching for two men who are said to have lured a young woman from her home before sexually assaulting her and strangling her to death.
Who was raped and killed by strangulation in Nairobi's Embakasi estate by unknown assailants. Detectives spent the better part of Sunday at the scene where the
Naomi Wangare Mwangi was born in 1995. At just 29 years old, she stood at the threshold of what should have been her brightest years. These were years filled with raising her daughter, building her marriage, and shaping the future she had quietly been working towards. Her life was that of a young woman, full of promise. She was married to Colonel Ekaset and was the devoted mother of a 9-year-old girl. Naomi was hardworking, warm, and friendly. Her mother, Violent Namasaya, spoke with pride and grief about her daughter. She knew her as caring, grounded, and determined woman. On the other hand, her father's pain was quieter, but no less heavy. The pain of a man forced to bury a child. Like many women her age, Naomi's life was a balancing act. She left her home often to work, juggled between duties, and provided to her child. She also actively kept her household together while her husband went out to work. So, most of her nights were nothing unusual. She was with her daughter at home while her husband was at work. But Naomi was not alone in life. She had friends, neighbors, and a network of human ties. Sadly though, one of those friends would become central to the tragedy that was about to unfold. Her life was ordinary in a way that makes this crime so shattering. Here was someone who woke each day to provide love and hope, believing as well as we all do that her walls kept danger away. Yet, as we now know, those walls could not save her. On that February night, a phone call pierced the fabric of her safety, luring her out into the night. Within hours, the life she had so carefully built would be torn apart, leaving behind a grieving family, a stunned community, and a haunting question: why Naomi? On the night of February 18, 2025, silence fell over Embakasi, but it would soon be broken by a crime so brutal that it still echoes through the neighborhood. Sometime after nightfall, Naomi Wangare Mwangi received a phone call. This call was from someone who she knew closely and a friend. She left the house, leaving her 9-year-old daughter safely inside. In her mind, she thought she would return shortly. Her husband, Colonel Embakasi, was away at the time. When he returned from work, he could not find Naomi. Believing that she might return shortly, he went to bed. But what followed was unsettling. Embakasi recalls waking from a disturbing dream in which he saw visions of Naomi being assaulted.
Kujiekelea kidogo kufika saa 9 naona nashtuka, kitu nanishtua kwa ndoto ni kama hizo ndio masaa mke wangu alikuwa anakata roho ama ni nini. Ni sura ilinikujia kabisa, mimi naona watu wanangangana na hao watu ni kama tawana nguo, imagine hiyo time. Nikashtuka hata nikasweat. Kuamka kuangalia kitanda sioni mtu na naona mtoto peke yake.
Moments later, a knock came at the door. A neighbor stood there, their face grave, delivering the news no husband should ever hear. Naomi had been killed. Witnesses later pieced together what happened. They reported seeing 2 unknown men dragging Naomi to the ground. They sexually assaulted her as she fought for her life. Her cries for help cut through the night, loud enough to alarm neighbors. One woman, who peered through her window, saw the horrifying scene. She said that one man stood as a lookout while the other attacked Naomi. At first, terrified to act, she grabbed a stone and rushed towards the commotion. The perpetrators fled into darkness, but it was too late. Naomi lay half naked, her body motionless. The struggles had stolen her final breath. Neighbors tried to help, but there was nothing left to save. Police were notified, the area was cordoned off, and her body was collected and taken to the city mortuary. The autopsy results confirmed the grim truth. Naomi had been sexually assaulted and strangled. In the days that followed, detectives arrested a female friend of Naomi, the woman who had been in contact with her shortly before her death. Police say that this friend was last seen with Naomi and the 2 male suspects moments before the attack. The 2 men remain at large, their names yet to be made public. That night shattered the entire community. Naomi had stepped out expecting to return. Instead, her final moments were spent fighting for her life under the night sky, and her voice was the last desperate warning of the danger that ensued. From the scene, the witness statements and Naomi's last known movements, police began piecing together a chilling reconstruction of what happened that night. The first and perhaps most haunting conclusion is that Naomi was lured from her home by someone she trusted. Investigators believe the call Naomi received before leaving the house was not random. The subsequent arrest of a female friend suggests she may have acted as bait, an intermediary who convinced Naomi to step outside. Whether she did this willingly or under coercion is still under investigation. Secondly, the fact that Naomi was seen moments before the attack with this female friend and 2 adult men points to premeditation. This was not a random assault by strangers in the night, this was a coordinated plan. The attackers were prepared as one man acted as a lookout while the other carried out the assault. This is a suggestion of a division of roles and prior planning. Third, the timing and location of the crime paints a clearer picture. This all happened under the cover of night, near Naomi's home, but just far enough to avoid immediate intervention. This is an indication that her killers relied on darkness to conceal their movements. Naomi's screams were heard, but by the time the neighbors rushed to the scene, she was already gone. The autopsy findings confirm the brutality of this crime. Naomi was sexually assaulted and strangled to death. These are not accidental injuries. They suggest the motive was deeply violent, personal, and driven by cruelty. Still, many questions remain. Why did her friend, who is currently in custody, make that fatal phone call, and what exactly was said? Did Naomi have any sense of the danger she was walking into? Was the female friend complicit in the murder or a pawn in a larger plot? Most importantly, who are the 2 men? Are they acquaintances, strangers, or hired attackers? Police are now examining phone records, forensic evidence, and neighbors' testimonies. They have detained the female friend and are interrogating her, hoping to get closer to the truth. But as of now, the two male suspects remain at large, their identities yet to be revealed to the public. The deduction is grim. Naomi was betrayed by someone she trusted, lured into a trap, and killed. All this occurred in a manner so calculated that the perpetrators disappeared into the night without leaving enough evidence to immediately catch them. Naomi Wangare Mwangi's story is not just another headline. It's the shattering of a family, a community, and the illusion of safety. She was a daughter, a wife, a mother to a little girl who still awaits for her at home. On that February night, a phone call pulled her into the darkness, and the world she knew never came back. Her death is more than tragedy, it's a warning. It shows how violence hides behind familiar voices and how betrayal can strike from those we trust the most. It's also an indication of how slow justice can deepen the wound. Neighbors heard her cries, saw the shadows, threw stones, yet it was too late. But Naomi's story cannot end in silence. Her killers still walk free, but clues remain. There are phone records, witness accounts, and DNA. This must be pursued until truth is found. To remember Naomi is to demand answers, to demand justice. For her daughter, her husband, and her community, we must ensure her name is not forgotten. Also, her death must bring light, not just grief. This is Dark Our Dogs, and if you found this story compelling, hit that like and subscribe button. Thanks for watching.